So man, it all started for me at the factory. It was kind of like by chance, you know. So my wife's family has that factory. Like I said earlier, they've been there since 1995, and so it was my wife's grandfather, the wife, and the daughter, which is a male figure there in the factory. And so he got sick. I was in banking at the time. I have been in the banking field probably about 7.5 years at that point, and they need a male figure because Little Havana at that time, after 3, 4:30, getting to 5 o'clock wasn't the safest place to be, and they were open till 6 o'clock. And so I took a week from vacation from work, and I worked the factory. And dude, by the end of that week, I just fell in love with the whole concept. The people you dealt with, the conversations you had. It was just a different animal, man. It was very different. I had always been a cigar smoker. I've been smoking cigars probably since the age of 15 or 16. That I would buy at the cafeteria there off of Flagler and 74th Avenue, I think it is. And I buy my fumas there when I get my dough to go fishing in the canals, and I'd smoke cigars, because it always intrigued me because I would go to my aunt's house, and her husband, always had, I think the man smoked with a cigar in his mouth. And so that smell, that aroma was always in the house. And I loved it. And so I picked up a cigar because I wanted to have that smell around me. And so, like, I was 15, 16 years old. Get on my bike, go to the place, go get the ball of dough before they put it in the oven to make the Cuban bread. And I go riding bike all over the canals, smoking my cigar, man. I thought it was the shit, and I was loving it. And so, that's pretty much how it all started for me. At the end of that week of working there, I quit my job, put in my 2 weeks notice, and I started in the factory. And at that point is when I started to learn about the industry. Up to that point, I was smoking fumas when I started. Then I slowly graduated up. Then I was buying cigars at shops. And I knew what I liked. I knew what type of cigar I liked, what type of profile I liked, what kind of strength I wanted. But I didn't know anything else. I didn't know the difference of wrappers. I didn't know different fillers. I didn't know different binders. I didn't know the names of different vitolas. I knew absolutely nothing, man. I just knew what I liked to smoke. And so I started in the factory. Now, at that time, we had two cigars we made. We made a Connecticut shade and a natural shade. And neither one were cigars that I liked. So, for weeks and weeks and weeks, I was smoking these cigars that I would buy at shops. And, over time, the old man, would give me the dirty look, why are you smoking this? Why are you smoking that? Look how many cigars you have here. Why are you spending money? So on and so forth. So I'm like, man, I really like what I'm doing here, but I can't keep dealing with this old man. So I started then getting the rollers to come up with different things for me to smoke to see if I like that. And that went on for a little while, but the rollers get paid by how many cigars they roll a day. So a lot of these guys, a lot of them had second jobs, so they needed to leave by a certain time. And, they knew they came in at 7, by 3 o'clock, they had to be done, and they had to have their 100 cigars or 125 cigars made for that day. And then they were off to go do their second job. So you could imagine I'm hounding these guys, hey, try this wrapper and try this, and let's add a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. It became an issue as well because now they were staying late or they weren't finishing their quota every day. So I said, okay, the only thing I can do here is learn how to make a cigar. So I taught myself how to roll cigars. I taught myself, how to do the bunch, a right bunch, so it wasn't too packed that you couldn't draw, or that it was too loose that you wouldn't even get lit. And I just taught myself how to make a cigar, man. Then I learned how to put the wrapper on, and by the point I was able to make a smokable cigar, then I just went to town, man. Every day was just blending and putting stuff together to see how it burns, see how it tasted, see what color ash it would give, what was the aroma like when you'd smoke it. And it was an avalanche after that, man. It was, every day, two, three, four different things I was putting together, putting in the cool room. And then because we're in Little Havana, and you have so many people coming by, whether on layovers to go on a cruise ship or layovers to take another flight, or they were driving down to go down to Key West. A lot of people would stop in the factory. So a lot of these people became my guinea pigs. You had a bunch of people that, they were buying their cigar for their boss, or they were buying a cigar for their brother, or, whomever. But then you had a lot of people that were asking certain questions that I would pick up on, oh, what's the wrapper? Oh, what binder? This, that, and the other. And those guys, in my mind, are like, oh, they know a little bit more about cigars. Let me give them something that I worked on so I could get feedback, because up to that point, I knew I liked it. But I wanted to get feedback from, actual consumers. And that's pretty much how it started for me, man. From there, the word got out. I started creating blends for us. People then were coming to Miami to have something made in a factory in Miami, from a boutique factory. And so I started working on brands, new brands, existing brands, extending lines for companies that were already out there. And it just took off from there, man. I've been lucky. I've been lucky. Then in around 2009, late 2008, John approached me, and that's when we started talks about what I was doing, what I thought about Drew Estate, what my plans were with Old Titan, so on and so forth. And and finally he asked me, what do you think about joining Drew Estate and kind of bringing what you do in your family's factory into Drew Estate, and kind of expand the traditional side of cigars for Drew Estate, and be that first Cuban influence into Drew Estate in Nicaragua. And talked it over with the family, and before I was done, they had my bags packed and said, all right, when are you leaving? So in 2010, I joined Drew Estate, man. I moved to Nicaragua for about a year and a half. I was flying. I would either leave on a Monday morning or a Sunday afternoon, come back home. My family was here, or is here. I would come back either Friday afternoon or Saturday mornings. And that went out for a year and a half.
What I find very interesting from that whole thing is it only took you a week working in that factory to know that that's what you wanted to change your life to be.
Oh man, dude, it's you go from people pissed off all the time in the bank. Why is there a check hold? Why did my check bounce? What's this fee? What's this? What? It was always a problem. It was never a happy transaction with all these people that you would see. And then all of you flip that to the factory, and people are happy. You have great conversation. You're smoking cigars. It was just so different, man. It was just so different. And within a week, man, I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. I don't know nothing about it, but I want to get involved in this.